How do again? Nice out, isn't it? Even at any time at all. And this one we're starting off a little bit later in the day. But if you've watched the whole series, oh, and by the way, sad to say, for the moment, this is the last in the current series, you'll know that we've been here. We're at Wortley, north of Sheffield, and we're at a railway. But hey, isn't a railway as you or I would think of it? And yet, hang on a minute, it does carry passengers. So, how come it carries passengers and yet there's no station to speak of? Confused? I am a bit. Come on, let's find out what it's all about. Right, it's time to find out the history of the line and this wonderful railway at Wortley Top Forge, and we're going to talk to Brian about it. Brian, how come you're all here? When did it all kick off?
It started around about 1984 when the Barnsley club apparently split up. I wasn't here then, but when the club split up, various ones went to Clayton West and the others came in and started this strike. It was originally laid by that chap there, is one of the founder members, and it was originally laid with you know the concertina lift shaft gates.
Oh yes.
And that they were dismembered, and that was the first strike we ever had.
Talk about waste not, want not.
That's right, yes, and that's the motto in this club really, I suppose, because I for one recycle just about everything, and so does Steve.
Right, but it's a fair old size now. You can't have started this big.
No, well, no, it started with a single line track, and then about 18, 19 years ago it was made into a double track, as it is now.
Yeah.
Well, a continuous circle,
Yeah.
dog and bone as we call it.
How often do you operate for as far as the public's concerned?
Well, generally speaking, when anybody comes, if they want to ride, whether it's a working day or not, then we give them a ride. In fact, we have 2 occasions on the year where we get the autistic kids from Sheffield come out here and enjoy a day out.
So it's a good day out for the kids.
It is, yeah.
But it must take a lot to run, and yet I've seen a notice that says rides are free.
Well, it's enthusiasm that it runs on this club, not money, because we don't have any. So it's all run on enthusiasm.
Yep.
And we do outdoor events, and we are prepared to hire ourselves out to earn an extra copper or two.
Did you hear that? You can hire this railway and they'll come out to you.
Well, we have a portable track that we can take out, but we are in the process of hiring the site out when the museum's closed.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we did have a tacit agreement with the forge that was so, that we could use the forge, or this part of the site, when the museum was closed, to host barbecues and things of that nature.
Yeah, you've got a fair few members, haven't you?
40 about.
Yeah. Could you do with any more volunteers?
Oh, plenty, yeah.
Tell us about it, what you need.
Well, we need young, healthy stock, if we can get it.
I get the picture.
Somebody with good
That
backs.
rules thee and me out.
Yeah, somebody with good backs, not like mine. Because most of us are sick, lame or bloody lazy. But yeah, seriously, we could do with some younger people to carry the club on.
Right.
We have a few, but not enough.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, at the end of this programme, we'll put up where you can get in touch with the railway here, and why don't you come out and do something? And if you can't, then just come out and ride the train. It's lovely. Right, we're going to move on now. And at this part of the programme, we've actually come to Wortley Station. Although Wortley Station is no more really, there is this lovely little one here that goes all around the site at Top Forge. It's well worth a go, and I have to say that the organisation that runs this is not the same one that operates Wortley Top Forge. So it just shows you how good the cooperation is between two societies. We're going to talk about the little railway once we've gone about, what it's got, what it features, but we thought beforehand you'd probably like to see it, as well as me hopefully, just going round it and showing you what it's like. It's delightful, it's absolutely wonderful. We're slowing down to go round a huge curve which takes us back towards the River Don. It's in a little cutting that is, well, kiddies will think it's real scale for them because it is quite small. There's nothing over, well, I would say in old parlance, 2 feet tall. That's how big the engines are. So it goes round in one big loop, and we're just coming in to complete the first part of that, which is what I would call the east loop of it. Now this is different because as I'm sat here, we've not gone through anything particularly strange other than a cutting. But on this part, as we go past the other side of the station, which the whistle tells us that we are going to, you'll find that there's something completely different, and the kids will absolutely love to death. As we go past, there will be a bit of a hissing of steam because one of the steam locomotives is being prepared, ready to go. And what we have got here, because of course for ease we're being pulled by one of the classic model diesels that they've got. We're going to go over a bridge right now, which is actually the sluice gate that takes the water out from the water wheel here. And at this point we pick up quite a bit of speed. On we go to the longest straight section of the track. And this, in this sort of weather that we've got, and we are really blessed for it today, it's all dappled and speckled and the sun is shining between the trees. Dogs on the line, it doesn't matter, they move, but we are coming up to the, as it were, what will be special for kids, especially if you don't tell them that that is what is coming up for them. We're slowing down for a curve now, and once we get round this curve, you'll see straight away why. Well, yes, actually you will see. I was about to say, how can you see? But you will. There'll be a whistle in a moment. And by the way, we're now going over a tributary of the Don and into the special area. Now, you might find that I will disappear for the moment and it will sound all very different. But it isn't for long. It's just a wonder for the kids. Yep, it's great, isn't it? This little railway has a tunnel. The kids will really enjoy it. And come on dads, so will you, and granddads as well. It's a great place to bring the grandkids because it's easy to get to, there's no climbing, it's equipped for disabled people, and you can have a full day here and never have to look at anything twice. A good idea is to look around the engine shed as well. They've got all kinds of models, they don't run them all the time, but it's well worth stopping to have a look at that. We're now approaching Wortley station, that's where we left. I'm going to get off there and we're going to talk to some of the people who make this railway happen. And remember what I've said, because what I've said, you can say, oh, that's where he said that. Oh, that's where he said that. You'll be able to pick them out. So this is where I get off. I'm going to talk to Steve, the driver. Steve, an engine driver. I don't know how old you are now, but I think we're about the same sort of age.
Well, I'm
aren't we?
76.
Oh, you can beat me, all right. But when did you first want to be an engine driver?
Oh, probably when I was about 5.
So it's something that you've always cherished. Were you able to do it before you came to Wortley Top Forge?
No.
No?
No.
What
no.
was your job originally when you were at work? I'm assuming you've retired now. You might not have been.
Motor engineer.
Right, so
Motor
you've always been
engineer.
sort of mechanically minded.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then my final job had 22 years lorry driving.
And
Right.
you haven't given up driving now.
I
So
haven't given no.
what
no.
brought you to this then?
It was something that I wanted to do when I retired. And when I retired in 2000, I was determined that's what I was going to do. And I went out and bought a lathe and all the tattle, and then bought plans and built a little steam loco.
Right.
And then from there I've built this model of a Class 25 diesel, which
D75,000 class,
Yes,
which are
75.
now history, aren't they? Let's
is
face it.
virtually, you'll find one or two in preservation.
Yep. There's one on
I think
North Yorkshire Moors
No,
Railway.
I believe they have two. I think
Yeah.
they have a Class 24 and a Class 25.
Yeah. How long did it take you to make it?
This one, this little baby, I think 18 months.
That seems quite a short time actually, because there's some people spend years and years
That's
on
right.
it.
Well, my little steam loco took me 10 years to do that.
How easy or difficult is it to drive it?
It's very easy to drive. It's very easy to drive. I have youngsters driving this. That's why I have a two-seat platform. And I have a
right.
youngster inside and allow them. And with one youngster who comes to the club regularly with his father, and he's allowed to take it out by himself.
He's a past driver.
He's a past driver. We don't allow him to ferry passengers around,
No,
but he is allowed
Yeah.
to drive by himself.
Well, two things there. Past, that's P-A-S-S-E-D, not P-A-S-T. So if there's any young folk thinking, well, I might like a go, I might like to come and volunteer, I might like to learn all about it, is it worth their while coming, do you reckon?
It's worth every moment that they want to come down here. Because I just can't understand anybody, no matter what their age, who can't be interested in having a worthwhile pastime.
You know, not all the locomotives here, excuse me, run 100% all of the time. Some of them, like us older people, and younger for that matter, have to go and have an MOT occasionally and visit the doctor. And Brian, that's just what's happened to your LNER Atlantic here, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's been a bit poorly. What's happened to it?
Well, it was built in 1985 in Australia to Australian government standards. The government apparently tests these at the time they were constructed, but it's a different type of boiler to the usual locomotive, in that it's a Briggs boiler, and a Briggs boiler is what's described as a dry firebox. Inside the firebox, instead of a water jacket, is a coil that's not dissimilar to an immersion heater coil, and the fire is in between the coils of this, which causes it to heat quickly.
Right. Hey, isn't it wrong way up if it's Australian then?
Yeah.
So you've got the cab off it, and you've got, which we know about only too well, you're drawing the fire through the chimney, aren't you?
Yeah.
What have you had to do to it to make it well? Because hasn't this got a bit of a checkered history?
No, I can't check it.
Oh, I thought it had blown up once,
well,
this.
Only the coil.
Ah.
Not the engine. The engine hasn't blown up, just the coil.
I had visions of the boiler split into 100 parts.
No, just the coil.
Right.
Originally blown up. And so we've had a new coil made without any joints whatsoever, which one of our stalwarts bent for us. And now that's it fully installed, and this is a test run for it.
Okay, well, we should be letting you get on with this, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll leave you here, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes' time to see this and see if it really does work. Fingers crossed for us, eh? We've got more maintenance going on here. Yes, these are the bits that you don't see when you do come and ride here. And it's interesting to know what these lads do. This is Derek, and we're in your workshop, or the workshop, shall we say. So what are you getting ready to be used later, Derek?
Well, what we're trying to do here is get organised, so we know where everything is when we come in and do maintenance on engines and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, we know exactly where things are. We're getting pretty well more organised.
Are you telling me it used to be a shambles? Didn't it?
It did really, but we are improving things.
How are you getting on with it? How long is it going to take you? And how long have you been at it?
I've been at it quite a few months now, reorganising it and well, it could take a few more months, I'm afraid, because we only work like Wednesdays and occasional Sunday like. I come down on a Sunday like.
Yeah. Now the lads and lasses are a bit privileged because they won't be seeing this, although they'll be riding quite near it. What sort of tools do you need to keep a railway like this running?
Well, it's welding gear, grinding gear, spanners and
the
drills.
ubiquitous lathes, I should imagine as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So what are you doing at the moment?
I'm painting these brackets because we're putting these heavy brackets on the wall so we can put heavy stuff on. Like,
I was going to say, looking at that drill there, that is not one light piece of equipment, is it?
Well,
I bet it takes more than one of you to lift that, doesn't it?
That's right. Yes, but that'll be refurbished as well. Like.
So what's it going to look like? Well, you've got somewhere, haven't you? It's all wonderful here, isn't it?
Well, all these trays, what's on the back of the wall, used to be on the benches. you know, so we're making more room on the benches, and we've put brackets up on the back, and Brian supplied all the lin bins, like, you know, to put stuff in and get and put all the screws and all that in there.
Right, so eventually it'll be a fairly, shall we say, efficient place to do running repairs.
Yes, definitely. Well, we hope so anyway.
Hey, oh, look, they're stoking this engine now. That means they must be fairly well on with getting it going. Yes, I know, the cab's missing, but I bet you a pound to a penny by the end of the programme they'll have this running for us, so keep on fettling. Hey, we've come inside now, and it's a nice change from being out in the sun for a while. But we've got John here now. John, couple of things with you. First of all, you've got a nice little club room come cafe here, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it's mostly our rest room really, and then we decide to put teas on, and then people come in, have a cup of tea, have something to eat. They can sit outside and and watch the trains running up and down. We don't charge it a lot, we just charge a donation,
a little donation,
just for the running costs. Yeah, that's what we got them. Well, we have them down here, you see.
Yeah.
And we have a pleasant time.
Good. I'll tell you what, you've got your general factotum Abigail here
Yes,
as well. Does she do 90% at work here, do you think?
Well, practically, I think it is, Abby. You know, she's very good. We, she always gets teas ready for us and shout and all that.
Yeah, and just preparing it now for the next lot coming in. Right, yeah. Sparks are flying here, aren't there? Yeah, bit of good fettling going on. Chris! Turn the thing off, will you, and come and talk to me. What on earth are you doing here? Because, it's like bonfire night all over again, isn't it?
This was some railway track that you see over there, and it's going to be, we have a portable track, and it's got loads, so I'm going to grind it off, clean it up, and it's going to be a new portable track.
Right, why do you need a portable track?
So we're going to these outdoor events, in summer, like to gals and stuff.
Yeah.
And we do odd school, and they like to have trains.
Of course, they want something moving. Everybody wants something moving.
We have a portable track with a trailer.
Right.
And other tracks, pork tracks, getting old and tired.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to make a new one, so I'm expecting it.
It looks remarkably like the stuff that you've laid down there, is it?
It is. This is all stuff that's been took up.
Yeah.
So we're going to throw it with angle grinder.
Yeah.
I'm going to paint it.
And make it look really good for a good bit of publicity when you take it. So you're regularly out to schools and clubs, are you? When the weather's good?
Just in summer we do a lot of galas. We do balls to Stone, Outer Bridge.
Hey, right.
We do both of them, and we've done on school.
So really, you're kind of looking for budding engineers, aren't you?
Yeah. And just a bit of pastime and it's good fun.
Exactly.
Where else would you want to spend your Wednesday? That's what I said.
Hey, how long is it going to take you to clean all this up?
There's loads. I've been at it now 2 weeks. There's probably about another 2-3 weeks left to do, right?
What brought you to a model engineering association? Well, I say association, it's a club, isn't it?
My friend, he joined.
Yeah.
And I happened just we were having a sleepover.
Have you got a background in engineering, or was it something
new?
No,
my granddad was a mechanic, my dad's a mechanic, my sister's a mechanic, my brother's a mechanic, and I tinker about in it.
So it runs in the blood, doesn't
it?
It runs in the blood.
I was thinking since I was 12 years old, we've had Land Rovers all my life, all of them, so it's second nature.
Do you take them apart and put them together as
all
well?
All the time.
Yeah, that's what they're for, isn't it?
Doing an old tractor at the minute. But now this is just good fun. Where else would you want to spend a Wednesday and a Sunday afternoon?
Well, Chris, I can see you're busy and I'm going to have to leave you to it. But boys and girls, if you fancy doing something like this, Chris would be really pleased if you came up and helped him a little bit. And why not? Chris, thanks ever so much for your time. I'll let you get on with it and we'll move somewhere else.
Thank you.
Oh, heck, real trouble here. Hang on, is that steam from engine or from lads trying to fettle it? Well, I reckon that's a non-runner today. Nice try, lads. What do you mean I put a bet on? Ah, here's something that does work, look. Aye, by the look of it, it's running pretty fair too. Now, you see, it's not just railways here, they've actually got traction engines. In fact, Eric, you're model engineers here, it's not just model railways, is it?
Oh no, it's everything. Tanks, you name it, we've got everything here.
Made by your own fair hands?
Yes, took 3 years to make it.
Yep. Now this looks a bit familiar. I know a little bit about it. It's a Fowler from Leeds, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Fowler, yeah.
And
it's one third of the full size.
right, what made you take it up? Are you from this sort of background?
I used to work on them as lads at farms, you know,
Yeah.
when they were threshing, and it's always been in my blood ever
You
since.
don't look old enough.
Go back to 1940, I'll tell you.
Oh, right. No, I can't go that
No.
far back, but not so far off. I suppose you've got to manufacture every single part
Every
yourself.
bit.
There's nothing that you can't go to a model shop and buy bits and pieces,
No,
really,
you
can
can
you?
buy a little small bits like gauges and things, but bulk of it's being made. All patterns had to be made for
Yeah.
these, you know.
No
and
wonder
have
it took you
and
3
have 'em
years.
casting, you know. A friend of mine helped me, an engineer. He drew it all up and scaled it for me, and also helped me do various jobs. A bloke called Ray Waller, a very
Right.
good friend. He also built 2 traction engines, so we got a lot in common, you know.
This is more of an exhibit because I see you don't have a trailer doing rides with it. You
yeah,
do?
Yeah, full.
So
I
if
pull
you
8
come-
people at back.
Oh, that's great. I tell you what, if you come on the right day, you can have a ride on this as well. Eric, thanks ever so much for telling us about this wonderful machine.
You're
which,
welcome.
to be honest, it's more imposing than some of the real ones that you get these days, isn't it?
At least you can see things working on these, you know. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Wortley Top Forge Model Engineers. And now you know as much as I do about it, but A, you can find out a heck of a lot more what they do here, and if you'd like to take part and just come and see it, well, you'll need their website, right? So if you follow my finger now, you will find Wortley Top Forge Model Engineers website appearing. Now it's a long one, isn't it? So I'm just going to press my own pause button for a minute. For you to write it all down. Hope that you got that. And well, it's a bit of a sad occasion, is this, because this is the last programme in the current series. We hope to do more for you in the future, but in the meantime, don't forget the phrase. Nice out, innit? And I'll see you later.